And so the first image, I'm recording this in November, by the way. So I feel like I'm picking up the energy of the first image. So first of all, what I saw was I see this man, and he's been traveling on foot for a very, very, very long time. Okay. And he's carrying like a little pouch with him with his clothing, his personal, effects and whatnot. But he's traveling very light, and he's kind of travel weary, and he's just a little bit tired, hungry, exhausted, and he just, wants to know like what his next destination is going to be. And so he comes across this, it looks like an outpost. There's a sign signaling, what direction to go towards. And it's in front of this outpost. And this outpost, there's like a place to rest and, a place to get water, a place to just kind of put his things down and just, relax for a little bit. So he's in this little outpost. It's really pretty though. There are a lot of lanterns that are put up. And so it's daytime when he's there, and he's just like, I want to stay here. I want to see what it looks like at night when the lanterns are all lit up. And he's the only person there. And so he stays and stays and stays. And then, the sun sets and then the lanterns come on. And as the lanterns come on, then he's looking at the signpost that's in front of this rest station. And funnily enough, it's pointing in two opposite directions, okay, two different directions. On the one side, and this is like kind of like pointing to my left, which is usually what I indicate as like the path. It says the path, and the path is lit, and there are lanterns strewn along the way, and it looks really, I want to say it looks very inviting. And then pointing to the right is the future, and also lanterns strewn along the way, and it's really inviting as well. So both paths look very, very inviting. And so where he's at right now, it seems to me pretty much like the present, okay? So he has an option to go to the past or go to the future. And it seems like he is in this rest station. He's very comfortable, and he's trying to figure out, where to go, okay? Like, where do I go from here? What is next? And so the way this man looks, I just feel like for many of you, you're working yourself too hard, okay? You're kind of like grinding yourself into the ground. I don't know if this is, just a lot of things that are happening around you that you have to do damage control on, putting out fires, or even like just taking care of other people. There are a few cards in this spread that indicate to me that, you kind of need a lot of time to yourself. Okay, so the first thing that I'm seeing here is the Hermit. And this is pretty much, taking the time to kind of be alone, listening to our own voice, not having our decisions or our plans be affected by other people's ideas, by other people's expectations, by what we're supposed to do to please other people. So I do feel like you might have spent a lot of time taking other people's advice or considering or consideration into account when you're making some major life choices or making some major life decisions. And I feel like for this month, the energy is kind of like telling you to turn inwards a little bit, figuring out where you are right now, taking stock of everything that you have in your life, and trying to decide on the next step. Okay. I do sense, once again, this yearning for something new, this yearning for a journey to start somewhere, like kind of like starting on a clean page, okay? Rewriting your story or writing your story, writing the next chapter, and even thinking about like the next adventure that you want to get into, the next thing that you want to kind of like swim towards. And I'm sensing that you have spent a lot of time trying to figure out, how to juggle between what other people expect of you and what it is that you want out of your life. And I feel like for this month, you're definitely at a point where you're in the driver's seat and you're trying to decide on the next phase. And you need to be making this decision independent of other people. what other people want from you, what other people expect you to do, and just kind of, listen to your own calling. Okay. The other two cards that came out in the deck that signify to me the need to really take care of your health and to, figure out if there are things like joint pains or aches and pains or whatever ailments or whatever symptoms that you're feeling. It is really important to, take the time, prioritize your health, go see a physician if you need to, and really, learn to take care of yourself. Okay. Because I feel that I feel like some things that have been neglected are starting to bother. Okay. So in this way, this can be like a physical symptom, like aches and pains here and there. And you're just like, oh, it's not too bad. I'll tend to it when I have time. And then before you know it, weeks or months might have gone by and you're just like, it's really, really, it's getting worse. It's escalating. Like there's more throbs and more pain, but you're just like, I'm too busy right now. I really don't have the time for it. So this is the month where you're really going to need to, take the day off, take care of yourself, and to really prioritize whatever it is that needs maintenance on your person or whatever that needs maintenance around you. Okay. So I feel like there's something here. It's, seeing this heart and there's a string. Okay. So literally tugging at your heartstrings. But what it is I'm sensing that whatever has been neglected, is starting to kind of like get to you, is starting to bother you, is starting to kind of weave its way back in, and it's time for you to address these issues. And I feel for many of you, it could be health related. For others of you, it could be like somebody who might feel a little bit neglected. For some of you who have, family and children, this could be making promises to like a child or making promises to a significant other, or if you're in a relationship, making promises to somebody and being too overworked, too overwhelmed, and not being able to follow through with the promises. And now I feel like it's time for you to revisit these things that have been promised, but for whatever reason have never been followed through. And then I'm also sensing for some of you, whatever has been neglected, like if there's like lack of communication, if there are things that have been kind of like left without any closure, these things are coming in, tugging at you. And I feel like you want to really take the time in the month of December to kind of wrap up these loose ends so that you can figure a way forward. Okay. Or you can, so December is it's the end of the year, and it's a time where a lot of people feel like they need to wrap up projects, they need to wrap up things, and they need to kind of get themselves ready and to, bring about the new year, bring about the new energy. So it's sort of like that last push for us to take care of things. Tie up loose ends, take care of unfinished business so that we can kind of cast them aside and move into a clean slate. So that's what I'm feeling right now. I keep seeing, especially for many of you, like pains in the lower extremities, joints, ankles, legs, knees, things like that. And even like, we have here the Ten of Swords, and the Ten of Swords is needing a lot of, it's like generalized pain, like body aches, needing to go to see a massage therapist, needing like, like a deep, like acupressure, almost like type of a massage, needing to work out all those knots and all those, all the tension in the back of your neck, all throughout your body, so that you can feel release. Okay. So I feel like there's some physical symptoms here that might be keeping you up at night, that might be hindering. And overall, I feel like, stress and lack of sleep that might be getting in the way of you, of your performance during the day. Okay. So whatever it is that is, has been neglected, it is time to really address these issues. And it is time to, find a solution, wrap up loose ends, and move forward. Okay. The other image, funnily enough, is I literally see this little green leprechaun, okay? And he's got that hat with the three-leaf clover on it. And he's like literally dancing around in a field of clover, okay? Just like jumping around, kind of laughing. So I'm seeing like just a field of green. And so this spells to me a lot of luck, a lot of transformation when it comes to things. And I feel like it's a continuation, a little bit of the last month's reading where I mentioned there might have been some unintended consequences. And I mentioned they weren't that bad. It's like you do something and you were thinking like, oh no, it's going to lead to a specific outcome. But then the outcome is like totally unexpected, totally outside of the realm of possibility. So I see that energy coming in with the field of clover, which signifies, tremendous luck, just abundance, having really, really good luck on your side. And then this leprechaun just jumping up and down all around this field of clover. So what I feel as well is, I really sense there is some very strong spiritual protection here. Okay. We have here the Four of Wands. You are in, kind of like being blessed, being enclosed or encased in a sacred space where things, bad energies, bad intentions, bad people, bad situations will not affect you, will not kind of like burst your bubble, and will not have any bearing on you. Okay, so I feel like for many of you, there is some really, really strong divine protection. Protection coming in from family, especially from people that have passed on, who are, looking over you, or especially protection from family who really trust you, who uphold who will try to uphold your honor, or who will try to uphold your reputation. So for example, just an example, okay, I don't feel like this is going to apply to you, but what I feel is like, for example, somebody might say like, I don't know if I trust the Gemini to follow through on what they say. And somebody from your family unit might say like, no, the Gemini has never proven the Gemini has never backtracked on their words. So I take them at face value and I hold them to their words. So I feel like there is, it's a narrative indicating to me that somebody from your family unit or somebody that you consider family, they're going to stand up for you. They're going to say really good things about you. And they're going to kind of like change a situation around based on how convincing they are when they speak or vouch for your character. So I feel like it's a very, very strong sense of like spiritual protection coming through from the family unit. And especially if you have members of your family that have passed on, there's very strong divine protection. And there's a lot of communication and messages as well coming through, especially for people that have passed on. Okay, we have the Death card, and this is not meant to be spooky or scary. We have the Death card and the bird here, which indicates to me communication. Okay, I understand that for some of you, you've been feeling a little bit trapped for a while. Okay, and I feel like the energy was very, very tense over the summer. Okay, especially like around your birthday time. You had a lot on your plate. You had a lot of things that were, I almost feel like anxiety provoking, okay? Anxiety inducing, anxiety provoking. Lack of restful sleep, not being able to quiet your mind, okay? And we're talking like staying up, thinking about a lot of things. Some of them are real things. Some of them are imagined. So like, real scenarios versus imagined scenarios. Some of them crisscross, and you're just like up at night. You're constantly back and forth thinking about things, thinking about like how things are going to play out, thinking about what direction to take. And I'm literally seeing like that same traveler, and there are like 10 roads just forked out ahead of him, and he doesn't know which path to take. Okay, so I just feel like you've been feeling this way, especially since your birthday, late May, and the beginning part of June, you've been feeling like responsibilities were piling on. You didn't have time to yourself. You didn't have time to really be alone with your thoughts and to figure things out and to be very definitive with the decisions that you're making. And so you felt almost like you were spinning in circle. Like, which way do I go? I just feel like I'm in this endless feedback loop and I really can't break out of it. And then I also feel like the month of November, okay, as we are doing this reading and as you have already experienced the beginning of November, some major things have come into the picture to kind of like solidify things, to give you more information, to solidify, I guess, some of the decisions and some of the choices that you need to make. And, you know, those 7 different forks in the road have kind of, I want to say coalesce, converge, almost like a convergence. And so coming into this month of December, I see like the choices are narrowed down, past or future, okay? And you're just like in a position where you're going to have to choose. And I feel like, once again, both paths are lit up with those lanterns, which indicate to me that, you know, they are just as, neither one is more favorable. They are just as good. And I feel that either way that you choose to take, you're going to be safe. You're going to be protected. And I feel like there will be another rest stop along the way for you to rest, for you to reassess your decision. So whatever decision you're making is not final. Does that make sense? It's not a final destination just yet. You're still continuing your journey. And so whatever decision that you make is a continuation. And at any point in time, if you don't, I guess like if you don't find yourself enjoying the route or enjoying the road that you're taking, you can always backtrack and you can always, you know, go back to the starting point and start over. So I do feel like it's a continuation of a journey that you're going on or you're embarking on. And there isn't a right or a wrong, okay? So that's the first thing. Or rather, that's the second image. Really needing time to yourself, making decisions independent of other people, and being able to be resolute and sticking to a certain path, okay? I feel like will be really beneficial for you because you have been spending so much time ruminating over choices, decisions, you know, where to live, where to stay, how to take care of this problem, how to take care of that. And all of it was really just weighing down on you. And you just felt like things were happening to you. You felt like you didn't have control over the things that were going on in your surrounding. And so this is a month to really reclaim that sense of, you know, free will, that sense of agency in your own life, and to figure out, you know, what path is best for you as an individual rather than you as a unit. There are a few more messages. They didn't come out in pictures, but they did come out, you know, verbally. One of them, I'm sensing here like this sense of family, okay? Family can be like a tremendous safety net, okay? I have here the 10 of Cups. And the 10 of Cups is, it's like the ideal family situation. For some of you, I do sense this overwhelming, like, romanticism. This overwhelming sense of romanticism when it comes to the family. You might have grown up in somewhat of a dysfunctional family, or even a family that was like unconventional, non-traditional in some way. Okay. Or even I feel for some of you like a broken home, and you're trying so hard to, you know, if you have children, you're trying so hard to give them everything that you didn't have, okay? You're trying so hard to give them like that sense of normalcy, that sense of traditional family unit. And you're struggling so hard to provide them with everything. And I feel like it's taken its toll on you. And I also feel like, wanting to create kind of like an idyllic, romanticized image of what family should be at the expense of truly feeding into the emotional, the nurturing of that family unit. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense to you, because I feel like in the spirit of trying to create that idyllic, mom, dad, two kids, car in the garage, white picket fence, that nice little country home. The emotions are not there. So you might be working really, really hard to sustain the family, and you might not have time to be emotionally or physically available for the people in that family unit. Okay. You might be struggling really, really hard to take care of mom and dad, and you're working all the time, and you're not really home to kind of like enjoy, a family dinner with them. So I'm seeing here where something is done in a very counterintuitive way to achieve something or a vision of something, when in fact the emotions are all that is needed in this situation. So I hope that makes sense for some of you. So what I'm seeing here is to kind of like realign yourself with the fact that, really getting down to the nitty gritty of what is really important. It's the emotional closeness. It's the emotional availability, how emotionally available you are to the people who need you when they need you, and using that as kind of like the barometer or the gauge of what you're expected to do. Okay. So I feel almost like, since the summertime, you're doing things that you feel people expect of you, but you're not really asking the people whether or not this is something that they want you to do for them. So I feel like you might be working based on false expectations because you thought that's what they wanted, but all along, that was not what they wanted. That was never discussed, and that was never like explicitly said. And what I feel is you're realigning yourself and trying to get to the bottom of, what is it that the other person might expect from me? For some of you, I do feel heavy energies of family. Okay.